Good afternoon, guys. Jordan here with the Nutty Gnome Homestead. Today is May 1st, 2025, and we're out here next to the greenhouse getting ready to talk about how to grow plants, whether it's vegetable plants, your raspberries, or any other plant that you want to if you don't have a green thumb. I get so many questions and comments on this topic. I had so many first time gardeners come to me this year. They're picking up tomato plants or pepper plants, and they ask all kinds of questions. I'm going to cover a couple of those questions today in this short video. So if you don't have a green thumb and you want to learn how to grow your own produce, stick around. So, one of the questions I get asked most often is how often should I water my plants? And honestly, the answer is it depends. So, for instance, I've got a 5-gallon bucket of lettuce here. Now, I've got lettuce planted in 4-inch pots. I've got lettuce in these 5-gallon buckets, and as you guys can see here behind me, I've also got lettuce in these mineral tubs. We like to plant our lettuce in raised beds. It fills out real nice. It looks real good, and it makes it easier to take care of. If you plant something in a raised bed, it's going to need a lot more water than if you plant it in the ground. We also try to make sure that we don't overwater our plants. You can do just as much damage as overwatering as if you can with not giving them enough water. The plants are going to look kind of the same. They're going to be kind of curled up and wilted on itself if you have too much water. You'll also get a little bit of a yellowing of the plant. So that's one thing you want to watch out for. Don't overwater your plants, but be sure you give them enough water to get them through. One way to alleviate the issue of overwatering your plant is to set up automatic timers and drip irrigation. So I'm a big fan of drip irrigation for our gardens, for raised beds. Uh, you can put them just about anywhere, guys. Put them on a timer, set them. They're going to go off automatically. Don't even have to worry about it. You know, your plants are going to get just enough water, and you're not going to do any damage that way. And it also makes it real easy to push organic fertilizer. You could attach a container to flush the water out through the drip irrigation to your plants. The next question I get is, do I need to plant in full sun, partial sun, or should I plant in the shade? It's easiest to plant any of your garden plants in full sun and provide afternoon shade if they need it. You will be able to tell real quick if your plants start getting a little bit of sunburn on them, or if they start drying out way too quick and you're having to water all the time. A little bit of shade, whether it's organic or not, makes a huge difference. Now, this is actually a twofer. I'm also going to talk about some support. You can see I've got a fence up here in our vegetable garden. This is going to be for supporting our cucumbers and zucchini. We will actually use this to our advantage. We know where the sun's going, what direction it's going to go. We know where the shadow's going to cast, and we can plant on the shadowed side plants that are going to need some afternoon shade. We also plan on putting a shade cloth over this entire garden this year, which is going to do two things. It's going to block out about 30% of the sun, and it's also going to help prevent from hail damage. Now, I know not everybody's going to have these big 8,000 square foot gardens with drip irrigation setup. You may just have one or two raised beds. Folks, you can do the exact same thing with those. A little bit of PVC to make you a frame over the bed, a little bit of shade cloth. It's going to do wonders, and that's also going to help conserve water. Goes back to overwatering and underwatering. Now, we touched on it earlier about supporting your plants. You put in so much time and effort into growing a beautiful plant for your garden. You got big, heavy tomatoes on it, weighing upwards of a pound, sometimes more. You got big peppers. The last thing you want to do is let that plant fall over, break off, or get in contact with the ground, which can also help spread disease. We don't want that. So as you guys can see here behind me, I touched on this earlier, I've got cattle panel that I use for support on some of my plants. Cattle panels are great for support. You can use them in a straight line. You can bend them over into a hoop, make arches with them. They're very versatile. There's a couple other supports that I want to talk about as well. These cheap cone shape, they have them labeled as tomato cages at the box stores. These are about useless for a decent sized tomato. We don't like those. They work great for supporting a pepper. That's about it. Our tomatoes, they'll get 8, 9, 10 foot tall around here, and they'll produce all the way up until we terminate them in October. Now, one thing I want to make sure you guys know, If you have a determinate tomato, it's going to produce all of its crop at one time. If you got an indeterminate tomato, it's going to produce throughout the entire season. So know what kind of tomato plants you guys are planting. We also make our own tomato cages. We make these about 3 foot in diameter out of cattle fencing, and we just wire them together. They work great. They have a nice support to them, a lot sturdier than those cone-shaped ones that you get at the box stores. Another form of support that you guys can do is cut you some stakes. These are made out of western red cedar. They last several years out here. These here are 6 foot tall, so we can drive them into the ground a foot or so, and they're going to provide plenty of support for just about anything that we need. Now here you guys can see our compost tea. This is one of our homemade fertilizers that we use here on the homestead. This works great. It is very hard to over fertilize with these homemade organic fertilizers. That is not the case with the commercial granular type fertilizers. You will get something called fertilizer burn on your plants. Now, fertilizer burn is going to look like a sunburn on a plant. It's going to be kind of a white, streaky, blotchy spot on the plant leaves, and it's going to take a long time for them to recover. Those leaves probably are not going to recover. You may as well go ahead and prune them off. If the fertilizer burn is too bad, you may actually lose the plant. So I recommend using homemade organic fertilizers. I've got several videos on that, show you guys how to make your own. It's super simple and it's a lot cheaper than the stuff you can buy at the store. Lastly, I want to tell you guys to grow plants for your zone. Don't try to grow plants down in Alabama for something that's designed to grow up in Michigan. It's not going to work out well for you. It can happen. We grow lemons here in Southern Illinois, but we have to do a lot of things to our lemon trees. Look and do some research on what you're wanting to plant. Plant the proper plants for your zone, whether it's produce or fruit or trees or whatever you guys want to plant. It is going to make a big difference. We like to do a lot of heirlooms. When you heirloom, you can keep your seeds. You keep your seeds year to year. They start to get acclimated to your microclimate because every farm's going to have its own microclimate. And eventually, after 3 or 4 years, you're going to have a seed that is very well suited to the microclimate on your individual farm. And it does help produce larger yields. So this is just a couple of ideas to think about whenever you guys are wanting to start planting a garden for the first time. You don't want to overwhelm yourself. Don't try to plant a huge garden. Just plant a couple of things. Plant what you're going to eat. Plant what you're going to use. Plant what you like. You don't have to go wild and crazy with it. Get your little bit of experience, a year or two of experience, and then start branching out. It is going to make a big difference. It's going to help with your confidence, and overall, you're going to be a lot more productive. So if you guys like this kind of content, I'd appreciate it if you'd like, share, and subscribe. If you guys haven't done so already, leave a comment down below and give us your tips for the new beginners without a green thumb. So till next time, I'm going to get busy. We got a storm rolling in here. I'm going to try to get a couple more things in the ground. Y'all stay safe.